Good morning. Today, we'll be looking at Chapter 7 of this lecture. The title of this lecture is China's Policy Towards its Overseas Contracted Construction Business. This lecture will be divided into 4 parts so that we can gain an extensive understanding into the development and evolution of China's construction business overseas. The first part will be an introduction to China's overseas contracted construction business. Second, we'll look at how the government has implemented favorable policies to aid the growth and export of construction services abroad. Third, we'll examine the regulations put in place to properly manage and organize the industry. Finally, we'll look at some of the challenges faced by this industry and potential solutions that can be helpful for further growth. Before I introduce the Chinese overseas contracted construction business, it is imperative to get some historical background as to how things have evolved over time until now. The New Stone Age, from 9000 BC to 5000 BC, is what many regards as the earliest beginning of the construction industry. Construction during primitive times consisted of mud huts and stone monoliths, such as Stonehenge. This activity eventually led to proto-cities, putting an end to pastoral life and paving the way to society as we know it. The ancient Egyptians are probably the most famous for their work with stone, which they used to build structures such as the Great Pyramid of Giza, the tallest building in the world for over 3,800 years. According to Jeffrey, in 1945, a great many cities of Europe lay in ruins, victims of long bombing campaigns conducted by both sides. Some were damaged in the course of fighting between ground forces. The destruction was mostly widespread in Germany, where Allied bombers had rained high explosive on urban centers for more than 3 years. But large-scale destruction had occurred in most of other countries that had participated in the war. Between 1860 and 1900, building and construction was restructured as an industry by the rise of large international contractors, and project management and delivery were reorganized around steam-powered machinery and equipment. This next illustration shows the trend and development of the construction industry globally and its value added. From this video, we can see that the United States was the world's leader in 1970, with major rebuilding construction projects exported to European countries and beyond. In 1988, Japan became the leader, but the United States overtook them in 1997. From 2011 till now, China has led the world in construction value added. So what exactly is China's overseas contracted construction business? It is important to note that the construction industry has contributed considerably to China's economic development and the urbanization process. The gross output of the construction industry in China has increased from 0.21765 trillion US dollars to 2.902 trillion dollars, up by 1,160%. As a country that has developed competency in this area, China has developed mutual relationship with Asian, African, and Latin American countries, among others, to procure and deliver on major construction projects. This is a new business model that has developed and expanded with the growth of the Open Up policy. The business content of foreign business contracting generally includes foreign construction projects, foreign aid projects, subcontracted joint ventures or joint contracts with a foreign company, and foreign contracted and concurrently operated housing development projects. Foreign contracted projects are divided into individual contracting, joint contracting, and subcontracting. Joint contracting is mainly large-scale projects with large-scale new technology and high construction organization requirements. Multiple contractors jointly contract a certain projects, which can give full play to their respective advantages and successfully complete the construction task. Subcontracting refers to the delegation of part of the project to other contractors for completion after the main contractor obtains the construction rights to a project from the developer. As earlier mentioned, foreign contracted projects have become an important part of China's economy, with over 4,000 foreign contracted projects. However, the ensuing slides will further shed more light on the evolution and development of China's foreign contracted construction projects. From 1950 to 1978, China's international engineering industry mainly focused on developing foreign aid services to countries that had a relationship with. Under the planned economy system, the government led the construction task by administrative means. The organizations worked on a non-profit basis on projects agreed on a government-to-government basis under the direction of the authorities of the two countries. With the reform and opening up in the late 1970s, using these companies with foreign economic rights as windows to participate in the international market competition and focusing on the development of the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Japan Overseas Cooperation Fund, etc. The main contracting mode for the national government was loan projects, private investment projects. It was the traditional design tender construction contracting mode. In the late 1980s, it began to develop the design build model, the design construction procurement general contracting, turnkey model, and etc. The emergence of Chinese international construction enterprises. An act was introduced by China's State Council on the 13th of August 1979 to allow specialized Chinese companies to invest in other countries. China Construction Engineering Corporation was the first international construction enterprise to be set up in November 1979. Entering the 21st century, development of multinational enterprises and larger Chinese firms expanded overseas. The EPC model gradually became the mainstream contracting model in the international engineering market, with the comprehensive advantages of engineering services formed by different types of enterprises through consortia. More companies provide design and construction services for owners in the international engineering market. There are new models that have emerged, such as the PM model and the PMC model. This table is a summary of China's contracted projects and non-financial investment data in the past 10 years, from 2010 to 2019. It can be seen that there's been growth over the years. China's foreign contracted engineering business can be divided into several categories, according to the figure here. We can see that the bulk of where China concentrates its overseas contracting projects are in 5 sectors, namely transportation, power engineering, construction, petroleum industry, and communication engineering construction. These sectors have accounted for 80% of all international projects. This shows that this sector has become an advantageous area for business growth. The current international market, interoperability construction, industrialization, and production capacity cooperation, urbanization, and smart city construction have become strong driving forces for the development of the industry. So the transportation, power, and construction business have achieved rapid development. As an important part of facility connectivity, the transportation infrastructure construction business is still the focus of cooperation. With railway engineering growing the fastest, electric power engineering has become a hotspot for business in cities along the Belt and Road Initiative. Breakthroughs have been made in the construction of clean energy, such as wind power and solar energy. Business in the housing construction sector has achieved rapid growth, especially in the non-residential construction sector. China International Contractors Association was established in April 1988 and is an organization directly under the Ministry of Commerce. In 2005, the number of Chinese companies that were selected as the ENR Global 250-225 international engineering contractors had made a breakthrough, reaching 46 and second only to the United States. In 2017, a total of 65 mainland Chinese companies were on the ENR, the Engineering News Record Global, ranking first in the world. The international turnover of the mainland listed companies reached 98.93 billion US dollars, accounting for 21.1% of the total international turnover of all listed companies. China has more than 4,000 enterprises engaged in projects overseas. Infrastructure cooperation has increasingly become the main pillar of its foreign economic and trade cooperation in developed or developing countries. Chinese enterprises have built a large number of excellent infrastructures overseas, laying a solid foundation for local economic development, especially in the fields of transportation, electric power, and community projects. China's infrastructural cooperation has greatly promoted local economic development, environmental improvement, and an increase in people's living standards. In addition, as a comprehensive carrier of goods, technology, and service trade, China's foreign contracted projects have also effectively promoted the trade development of related industries. It launched the China Construction brand to become a window for the world to understand China's reform and development.